this. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it picks it pretty good up, even if it's like this.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll introduce things. Welcome back, guys. This is my first interview, and Martin was very nice to be my first interviewee.
And we can start. Start whenever we want. We can edit it.
I'm editing everything. Yeah, so we can have this dialogue.
You can restart it if you like.
Yeah, let's go straight into it. Martin, he has had a big impact on my life for the last year, and he has taught me some valuable lessons. I am super excited to having him here and ask some more questions about his past. And so yeah, thank you, Martin. Can you tell the viewers something about you?
A nice one, Tom. Yeah, it's my honour and pleasure to know you also. It's been wonderful having you as part of my life, and yeah, really grateful to know you as a friend. I think your YouTube channel is doing great as well. I see your views are doing so well, so I'm a little bit nervous about being on camera, so how many people might end up seeing this. So yeah, a little bit about me. I'm Martin Davidson. I'm from a little small town in Hertfordshire near London, southeast of England, and I live in Australia now. Been here for 18 years, or actually nearly 19 years. Previous to that, I lived in Spain for a couple of years, and I left the UK when I was like mid-20s. Had the opportunity to go and live in Spain, and once I moved overseas, I realised that wow, there's so much more to discover with regards to countries and people, cuisine, culture, atmosphere, music, and it really opened my eyes up to want to travel more. Since coming to Australia, I backpacked all around Australia, which was amazing, up through the centre, camping out in the desert. So glad I did that and have those experiences. I feel very blessed, very lucky, very, very healthy. I'm in the best shape of my life right now, and at the moment I'm working on this beautiful property. It's a 5-acre property in northern New South Wales, and with my partner Ella we're growing food, vegetables, and we've got 10 chickens now. Yeah, just really enjoying living in the countryside, but also being really close to the Gold Coast, which is where I'm part of this brotherhood community, which is a men's community group focused around health and vitality. It's a really wonderful community to be a part of. A little bit about me, where I am right now.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you for that. Can you tell me about a time where you weren't this fortunate and where you thought, is this life?
Throughout my whole life I've had this sort of existential, not crisis, but considering what's life about, what am I doing here, sort of observing myself and seeing what I'm doing and questioning, is this what gives me joy, is this my purpose, is this the thing that I should be doing right now? Sometimes it can be to have that conversation constantly in your head or constantly questioning can be a little bit unsettling, because it hasn't allowed me to feel grounded and to make long-term commitments, because I've always been thinking, I don't want to commit to anything long-term, whether that's a job or a relationship or a career or even a country. Whereas that over the years, that aspect of me has started to change as I've become bored of that fleetingness of constantly changing. And it wasn't until when I was mid-30s that I was travelling and I decided, okay, I think if I want to have a future and have a family and build something that I can be proud of for the long term, then one way of doing that would be to take control of my finances. When I was 35, I came back from travelling I was an English teacher, and I came back to Australia, went into a job that I wasn't really aligned with, but it helped to prove to myself even more so that I wanted to do my own thing, and that set me on the path of becoming financially literate and doing a diploma in financial services, or diploma in financial planning. From there I started to do investing and understanding how the monetary system works. I decided that I actually wanted to set up my own business, and that's when I found out about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, and had the opportunity of meeting like-minded individuals that were also passionate about and Bitcoin as a social innovations and a alternative to the existing financial system, and the opportunities that it could provide to start-up entrepreneurs creating businesses in the decentralized technological space. That was a great opportunity for me to then help to build a business which ended up being a co-working space business focused on education, co-working and community events. I found my ikigai, my purpose. I really loved it. I was able to put into practice a lot of my previous experience in working in corporate and different training and management roles to running a co-working space business. And that's quickly expanded. We opened up centres in different countries, licensing the business. It was a really fantastic time to be part of the growing Bitcoin ecosystem from 2014 to 2018.
Every time you tell me that story, how you started, and for the viewer, Martin has made some very well-made investments in Bitcoin, and he has a big belief in Bitcoin. I'm starting to see why Bitcoin is such an amazing thing. What was the reason that you chose to do the co-working space? Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Initially, I had a small business on my own, which was a ATM business. It was a small device where you could swap your dollars to buy Bitcoin. I was working on that business, working on the website, and this is when I was living in Melbourne. And then I saw in a startup magazine about these guys that were running a couple of Bitcoin businesses, but they were offering people to come and share the office space there. I went along and met the guys, and they offered me a desk. And then from there, I realized that, well, a good way of bringing people to come and buy Bitcoin from me, from my little machine, would be to offer education programs. I started to, because I'd done quite a lot of self-study and some courses in digital currencies, decentralization, money, and I enjoyed doing presentations and training. And I wanted to share my knowledge about Bitcoin and what it could potentially do for the world from a social innovations perspective, not just from a financial instrument that you could potentially make money from, but how it can liberate people, how they can find freedom by using Bitcoin and decentralized systems such as cryptocurrencies. A lot of the values appealed to me and spoke to me, which is why I was so passionate about it. When I was doing these education programs, or this Bitcoin 101, I'd do them weekly, then I did them fortnightly. And sometimes one or two people would turn up, sometimes no one would turn up. Over the years, as the price moved up, price appreciated, more people became interested in Bitcoin. By the time we had a bull market run of in 2016, 2017, then a lot of people were interested, and we'd already sort of built the co-working space community up. We were sort of the go-to people to find out information when it came to the news and the press and just general people wanting to, understand what Bitcoin was. I kind of fell into that role just by proxy of being in that space and seeing what was needed in that space, and what I was working on was just aligned with growing the community. It wasn't something that I set out to do, but it just worked out that that's how things unfolded.
It aligned with how you were, the business that you were already starting, and all those smaller pieces just locked in together, and you went with the flow.
Yeah, that's right.
Recently, you said to me, like, just showing up. Have you had that experience a lot in that whole journey that it's just about showing up? Can you tell me where you really found that it was just that coincidence, just because you were there, that something happened?
Absolutely. I think it relates to most areas of my life, of my personal experience, and I don't know about anybody else, but just by showing up, being on time, having a good work ethic, doing my best most of the time, just putting my best foot forward, the desire and the will to want to do something well. So I've done that for companies in the past that I've worked for. When it came time for me to do it for my own self, for my own company, and something that I really believed in, which happened to be the Bitcoin industry and education around that and helping to build a community, it was just something that I just felt so passionate about. I would get to the office early morning and I'd leave, late at night, 11, 12 o'clock at night. I'd eat noodles at my desk, and which is obviously not healthy. My personal relationships did suffer during that time, but I was just so passionate about doing that. And even now, just working on this 5-acre property which needed a lot of care, a lot of TLC, because it's been let go and hadn't really been looked after for many years. The last 3 years now has just been cleaning up the property, and I could see the potential in the property, doing the renovations. It hasn't been easy, but again, it's just showing up every day. I just show up and I mow the grass, or I look at what project needs to happen next. What resources do I have? Who can help me achieve these goals as well? I feel that that's been a big part of having any success in my life, has been just showing up. And more recently joining this men's community group, and they do regular workouts and inspirational men that are achieving amazing athletic achievements, in going on 105-kilometer runs and doing all sorts of crazy physical endeavors. It's just so inspiring to be around people like that. And the group, they inspire each other to want to be better and to showing up. A lot of the time it's showing up. If you want to be fit, you want to be healthy, well, you need to keep showing up, doing it for yourself, whether that's with your diet, with your exercise, with your sleep, and with the quality of your thoughts and how you're feeding yourself in your life. That is showing up to work, showing up to play, showing up in all areas of your life. Over time, it bears fruit.
For me, showing up has definitely been the way to go. Here in Australia, I've been focusing on these small things that I want to accomplish. I only do this day the things that I have to do this day. I don't try to do things that I have to do next week or things for a whole week in one day. Just try to do everything that I can today that I need to do today.
So powerful, yeah. I mean, it's really powerful because it's something that's been coming through for me recently, is the wisdom that you've just shared. So powerful, but I struggle to do that. I try and cram more things into the day in an endeavour to achieve more, because I feel by the end of the day, if I haven't been super productive or checked off all of the to-do list things that I've created, then in some way I've failed, or I won't be content. As opposed to just doing things that are manageable and that you can achieve and do your best at is enough, is more than enough. In that, I find a lot more personal freedom and space and enjoyment in the present moment of doing, okay, I just need to do this one thing now, and then it takes as long as it takes. Yeah. As opposed to, I've got an illusion around it should take this amount of time, and when it doesn't, I'm going to get frustrated, or I'm going to get angry, or it's going to take me off my centre. And this property's taught me that as well, because it's such a large property. Yeah. Things take a long time to do, so patience is a really important skill, very valuable.
I totally agree with that. I have that still a lot as well, that I like to do more. That's the challenge. I've just been trying to do just what is necessary today and just repeat that. I wanted to come back a bit on something you said before about that Bitcoin isn't just something to make money off, but it's also something more. Can you tell me a bit about what that else is? So
Bitcoin is, yes, it's a cryptocurrency. It's designed to be used as money and as a store of value. Because of the way it's designed, it's like a deflationary currency, kind of like gold. There's only a limited amount of it available. Unlike cash, which goes down in value because of inflation, Bitcoin has tended to go up in value because of its scarcity. There's only so much of it. It's the ability to be able to transact with anyone, anywhere, anytime, without needing to go through a third party, like a bank or a financial institution. Many countries in the world have corrupt governments. They are unable to transact with the rest of the world. They're completely cut off from global trade, from the global markets, because of the way their country is being run. You and I, we're here in Australia, we are free to transact and send money overseas. That's not the case for everybody in the world. Whereas with Bitcoin, you can download a Bitcoin wallet application, absolutely free, to your mobile phone, and then you can send and receive Bitcoins with anyone in the world. That can't be censored, it can't be stopped. It makes it possible for anyone to transact with anybody. I can give you $5 right now, and that's a transaction that can happen between you and I, and it's personal, no one needs to know about it. But as soon as you far away from me, we're not in physical proximity to each other, then we have to use a bank, or we have to use PayPal, or we have to use Visa, MasterCard, an intermediary service. And they're going to take a fee. They're going to take some of our money so that we can send money to each other. In order to have a service with those institutions, we're going to have to provide identification. They're going to need to know who we are. How is it anybody else's business that I make a transaction with you? We exchange value. At some stage during our evolution, it was decided that the governments and the central banks should control all of the money. So Bitcoin and cryptocurrency makes it possible for people to have transactions without the government or banks involved.
Besides making money, that is then the most beneficial thing about Bitcoin. Is that the whole picture?
Yeah, so Bitcoin was the first cryptocurrency, but since then there's been lots of other cryptocurrencies that have been released that are using cryptography for other applications. It's quite possible that although Bitcoin is mainly being used as a store of value right now and a speculative asset that people are trading, there is the potential for it to be used for other applications. You can take, like, a Bitcoin is divisible to 8 decimal places. You could have 100 millionth of a Bitcoin, which doesn't really have much monetary value, but it is a very secure token that we can exchange around. That little piece of Bitcoin, the smallest unit of a Bitcoin, is called a Satoshi, named after the creator, Satoshi Nakamoto. So a Satoshi is 100 millionth of a Bitcoin, and we can say that represents a vote in an election, or it can represent a product in a supply chain. Because of the security of the network, we can exchange that token around, it's not being used as a monetary item anymore, or currency should I say, but it's actually representing something else. That's the power of cryptocurrency. Wow. Is it could represent whatever we want it to represent, and there's lots of companies that are coming up with different ways of using cryptocurrency as opposed to using centralized systems.
What I get from this is that cryptography and crypto in general has so much potential still.
That's right. Well, that's why it's Bitcoin itself is worth $1 trillion now, market capitalization, and the rest of them are worth, I think, nearly another $1 trillion right now. That's market capitalization. A lot of that is speculation. That's a decent amount of money. That there's a few people out there that are investing their money into this technology. It's not just a sort of flash in the pan thing. It's been around since 2009. Bitcoin was released, and since then more and more uses of cryptocurrency has been looked at and been developed.
I was wondering that if someone like me, for instance, wants to know more about investing and wants to get more literate and do some greater investments for in the future and get financially free, what would you recommend would be a way to do something like that?
So in my personal experience, the best steps has been through educating myself. So doing a training course. I did a diploma in financial planning, and I went to a training organisation in Melbourne. I did that course. I did some trading courses as well, some weekend trading courses. A friend of mine, he knew someone that was putting on these trading courses, so I learnt about how to read charts, and that was foreign exchange trading. I didn't do any trading, but I learnt some of the basics, so I can look at a financial chart and see and apply some technical analysis tools on the chart. You've got two types of traders. You've got technical analysts, so people that look at what the chart is doing and the history of the chart, of the price action, and then they might have different technical indicators that they put on the chart, like Ichimoku cloud, Bollinger Bands, Fibonacci retracement. There's loads of different tools that traders can use to analyze a chart and try to predict what the price will do next. That's technical analysis. And then you've got fundamental analysis, whereby you're looking at the balance sheet of a company or a stock. You're looking at what's going on with its potential in the market. How is it affected by other markets, like global macroeconomic trends? The Federal Reserve released a statement. How does that affect the oil industry or the gold industry? And how does that affect the company that you might be invested in? Who are the people behind the company, the board? What's their track record in companies before? Who's the CEO? What does the general market look like? Fundamental analysis is looking at, how not just technical analysis, not just price action, what's really going on with the company and what's the potential future. But if you can have skills in both, understanding, being able to do fundamental analysis and technical analysis, then that can help with regards to being a trader. But yeah, educating about how to trade and how to look at investments, understanding about what your risk strategy is, what are your financial goals as well. Doing the diploma in financial planning, I found it really invaluable for my own personal growth when it came to understanding about finances, because if I'm trained to be able to offer advice to someone on their financial goals, then I was able to apply that to my own financial goals. I was considering, once I'd done the course and got the diploma, to then apply for jobs working as a financial planner. I decided that I wanted to get into starting my own business.
How you got your business and how you did the co-working space and how you were surrounded by people that knew things about crypto, and do you think those things were necessary for you to be able to do the investments you've made and that they did so well? Do you think that had a big impact on that?
As you were talking, I just thought about what we were talking about just before, about just showing up, but showing up for something that you really enjoy doing. It just so happened that I was in an industry that had financial opportunities, start-up businesses, investors, venture capitalists. There was a lot of opportunity to meet people that were also in the money world, in the financial world. Just by me being in that space and around these people, I started to see opportunities. But really, it's whatever you're passionate about. If you just show up to that regularly, then opportunities will come to you in that field.
Yeah, that does make sense. If you would have advice for your past self when you were still lost in this world and still finding out what you wanted to do in this life, what would you tell yourself?
That's a great question. I think it would be a dear friend of mine. He shared this with me a few years ago when I was struggling a little bit in life. He said to me, have confidence. It really cut through the fog that I was in, because when I looked back at my life, I could see that there was a lot of opportunity and I had a lot of great times. It's been a wonderful life. If I just have confidence in what I'm doing, then things have turned out really well. I would sort of say that to my younger self, just have confidence and it's going to be okay.
Would that translate to, like, I have confidence in myself that this thing that I'm choosing now, I am able to do this, even though
100%.
I suck right now, but I know if I keep going, I will be able to do this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Have confidence that things in life tend to have to work for things in life, whatever it might be, whatever you're wanting to achieve. If it's worth having, it will normally take a lot of work. And that's for me in my life, that's been in all areas of my life, whether it be emotionally, spiritually, financially, in relationships, in careers, with friendships, with my family. Constant work and evolving and questioning and reflection. Sometimes if I don't make the reflections are put upon me by something happening in life that isn't to my liking. It makes me reflect and think about, okay, what has just happened? Was I responsible for that? And more times than not, if I'm feeling crappy, it's my responsibility. It's something that I'm doing. I'm not showing up somewhere in my life. Then I'm responsible for the good and the bad. If bad things are happening, well, then that's on me and it's time to make changes.
I really like that. That's a powerful thing. In my day-to-day life, especially here in Australia, every time I feel something, there's something off, or I can always backtrace it in the things that I just done before. Every action has an opposite result to it as well. When I feel a bit off, or I'm super tired, or I feel bad because then it means, I haven't spoken to all my friends back home, or I just did something super physical that I forgot about, and that's why I lost all my energy now. And thank you for saying that. I think a lot of people will have benefit from that. I've had so much benefit from everything that you've been telling me every time.
Thanks for the interview, Tom, and really appreciate you and your friendship. You inspire me to want to be better in all areas of my life as well. And to ask questions. One of the things I admire about you, Tom, is you're constantly asking questions, and I find that inspiring. And also, thank you for putting me on to jiu-jitsu as well. So I'm just starting on my journey there, slowly, baby steps, and I'm really enjoying that. It's great to see how you've grown in jiu-jitsu as well, like winning tournaments and just applying yourself. And again, it gives me inspiration because you show up so often and you train so hard and you're so dedicated to it, and now you're reaping the rewards of improving so quickly. And it really does come down to just showing up. So yeah, thank you, Tom. You inspire me to do more.
Thank you, Martin, and thank you for being my first person that I get to interview. This has been very cool, and I enjoyed it a lot. I look forward to all the other cool things that you're going to tell me and learn from you. Thank you for that. Would you have any tips for my first time of interviewing someone?
No, it's been fun, Tom. Thanks very much for the interview. Yeah, look forward to seeing more interviews.
Thanks guys for watching. If you like to see more of these type of things, then join the Sandman community. Look out for next week's video. It's going to be a video about a dopamine detox, how sometimes just taking things away from your life, you get to appreciate more things. So if you look forward to watching that, then hit the bell icon and I'll see you in the next video.
Bye. We might edit a little bit here.
Yeah, I talk. And
why has it got a fluffy thing on the end of it?
If there's wind.
Looks quite funny, that, with the fluffy thing.
I mean, it's gonna look like. Oh, it's gonna look like
fluffy.
Yeah. So
okay, cool.
Yeah, but then.
Why has it got a spoon on it?
It is a spoon.
This is a very interesting microphone. This is a very interesting microphone. It's multi-purpose microphone.
It's gotta be the intro.
You can use this to eat your cereal in the morning. Although I don't tend to eat cereal because it's full of E numbers and preservatives and.
Probably could.
Yeah, muesli's okay, but I'd want to take off the fluffy bit if I used it to eat muesli.
Put that in first. All right.